Hi, I'm Melissa Bill, and welcome to the Business Roundup, where we catch up with the movers and shakers in the business world. Today, joining me is Michael and Joey Jurgielewicz. They're Joe Jurgielewicz and Sons, one of the largest family-owned fourth-generation Pekin duck farmers based out of Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you very much for having us, Melissa.
Now, your concept, first of all, I mean, there's so many things that set it apart, but one of them is that there are two people within the family that are veterinarians, correct?
That is correct.
And that makes it it's the only one in the United States that could say that.
Yes, and maybe even the world.
That's amazing. And now, how did four generations, how did this get started? Like, who came up with the concept, and how did this, industry, how did you get started with the business?
So it started back in 1933, actually, when our great-grandfather immigrated from Poland to New York City. And he was in New York City for a little bit before he decided to move out to the very end of Long Island. And when he moved out there, it was the largest duck farming area in North America. And so he got into duck farming, and from there grew the business to where we are today. Well, we can take it back a little bit. So my dad grew up on the duck farm on Long Island in Center Moriches, and it was his dad, our grandfather, and his brothers took over the business. And then our dad went to veterinary school at Cornell University in upstate New York. And then shortly after veterinary school, decided he wanted to start his own business and duck farm. So his dad, our grandfather, and our dad, Dr. Joe, started the farm where we are located here in Pennsylvania today. And that was back in 1984. And back then we started with processing around 750 ducks per day. And we are now here in Pennsylvania processing around 30,000 ducks a day.
Wow, that's amazing. And now, is this nationally that people can purchase this, or is it just?
Yeah, no, we sell our ducks a few different ways. So, majority of our ducks are sold to distributors all around pretty much North America. We do a lot of export markets. Michael can touch on that later, but those distributors then will go to end users. They could be smaller retailers or restaurants directly. We also do sell. It's small part of our business, but definitely growing, and COVID helped it. Was one of the few things that COVID did help was on our e-commerce site, on our website, tastyduck.com. You can buy duck direct from us, and we ship it fresh pretty much to all continental U.S.
And now, what are some of the things that set it apart? Because right now, look at the agricultural or farming business, and a lot of the smaller ones, they're trying to make a comeback because there was a time when it was like the big corporations kind of really took over. And being that you have veterinarians involved, what makes the difference in as far as the product, the care of these ducks, and what kind of separates you from like the other farmers in this industry?
I'd say so. So we're a niche product. We're a niche business. So ducks are percentage wise in the poultry world maybe we're 1-2% of the whole poultry world, where you're putting chickens and turkeys and that. I think that there's chicken farms out there that probably package more chickens before lunchtime than we do all year. So it's definitely, it's nothing to be afraid of size by any means. It's really just comes down to, Michael and I are both lucky enough to go to a hospitality school. So it's really simple hospitality, and bring that back into farming. So when you look at the care of the duck, you look at the better quality water you have. All of our water here is fresh spring water. The better feed that you have, the higher quality products of corn, soybean we use, the better care, the more human touch that's involved, it really correlates to a better product. I'd say that it's a secret ingredient, but it's really just going back to fundamentals. And the better you treat someone, the better you treat an animal, the better, healthier, better product you get in the end.
Right, that makes sense too. Because someone was saying, I don't know if that's true, like cortisol levels of stress can like affect. This is even like cows and other types of meat that it can affect the
No,
way.
100%. I mean, stress, just like in humans, is very deadly. In animals, the same way, and you can really tell that by the quality of the product. In ducks, with being a feathered animal and with having that the down, we have to, if the higher the stress level, the harder it is to get feathers out. So we need to make sure the stress level is down. And then also on the meat and the protein part of it is that can attack, you can really see that by the tenderness of the product.
And also, what helps us make sure we have one of the best ducks and farming practices out there is that we are vertically integrated. So we oversee from the hatching, the raising, the processing, packaging, and distribution of our ducks. And so we have a touch point at every single part of the duck's life.
That's amazing. And I mean, there's other points too. I know it was saying, according to Cornell, Johnson College of Business, the average life for a family business is 24 years. How did you build such a lasting multi-generational business? What are some of the other like tips and keys to that?
Hospitality of taking care of the owners. No, I think it's so far, I think definitely statistically we are very lucky in our business. Myself, Michael, we have two other brothers. The three of the four of us work in the business. We all have common goals, but we also have our specialties, our interest in the business. With Michael, and Michael said we are vertically integrated. There's such a wide variety of going from genetics programs to hatcheries to processing to logistics to sales marketing. It's really we all found our specialty, and I think and having that with the common goal, I think that's kind of our our success comes from that.
And like our parents, Dr. Joe and Rita, like they obviously read about these statistics and everything, and they had it as one of their personal goals to make sure we can continue our legacy. And like as Joey said, we all found our different parts within the business that makes it easy for us to work well together and not butt heads as often as people would see. Yeah.
Right, and like when you have a family working together, but that's great to see too, that being able to make that work. And now, what about your kid? Now, do you have do any of the sons have kids too as well and families that are going to get involved in it?
Yes, we all. So as Joey said, there's four of us. Joey's the oldest brother. Dr. Jim is he's the veterinarian and the president of our operation here, and then I'm number three. And our youngest brother Brian is the one who's not working directly in the business. He lives in New York City with his wife. But we all have kids. Joey and Dr. Jim both have four kids already. The oldest is 9, and then Brian and myself each have one kid, just babies under 6 months. So it's a still early phase.
Right, and how many employees do you have in the company?
In Pennsylvania here, we're a little over 250 employees, direct employees. Then we have several contract growers, and it's a wide range of other people that are involved with the business also. But 250 employees that work for us directly.
And, like, just for, like, a day of, like, somebody who, because 'cause I've been, like, around chickens, but not really in the day-to-day functioning of, like, something like this kind of business. What would be, like, a day, like, in the life of, like, when you're in there? What, like, you're talking about the hatcheries, so it goes from, like, hatching them, growing them, I mean, it's through all the stages to when, obviously, they, are, for on the table and stuff. So, what are, like, the different steps in an industry like this?
Yeah, mango. Yeah. I'd say it again being having such a larger scale or being that vertically integrated. There's so many different jobs. So if you want to start like probably the first people to start every single day are probably the works in our breeder department. So they're picking up duck eggs every single day. So that was one of us boys, one of our first jobs, especially during summers or winter breaks or snow days. That's kind of that. So really important to make sure we're collecting all the eggs in a timely manner. The faster they're picked up, the less bacteria or less dirty they can get to have a higher percent hatch. Then from there, they'd head to the hatchery. Those eggs would be washed, graded, and then chosen to be put into the incubator. So it's really every department has I guess a different, you say start time going down to that, but different goals or really just like fundamental jobs that are done every single day.
Like on the finished product that we're selling to the chefs.
Well, I know you don't use processing equipment, is that correct?
Well, no, we have a whole processing plant, so there's a lot of
Okay.
hand touches and stuff that is automated. But
Okay.
again, like back to like again, the care of the animals is really, I think, a big differentiator. Like as we said in the beginning, how we started this veterinarian owned and operated. So really animal health and welfare is at the forefront of our operation. And
Okay.
we have a whole veterinarian service and animal welfare department and team that is constantly in the field, in the barns, checking on the ducks, checking on the workers and the growers, just making sure the ducks are being raised properly and they're happy and healthy, have access to food and water, and have a healthy environment.
I guess that probably would be more of what I was trying to say. Like the process is because you see like these big chicken, where they have tons of chickens, they're not in the
Right.
best environments. I guess in that point, this is they try to you could try to keep them as happy and healthy in an environment that's more like what they would normally be in. So they're like, living like their best life and they're healthier in
Yes.
the end.
Yes.
And I'm one of them, so I'm gonna ask, what is the difference between Peking duck and just duck? Like, what is the difference between that?
Um, so the Pekin is the breed of the duck, and Pekin is Pekin. So that
Okay.
is the breed we only raise here, and it's that white duck with the orange beak and orange feet. And then Peking, Peking, that is the cooking style of a dish. So that is the traditional that dish that started in China thousands of years ago and then came over here where you slice it, has that mahogany brown crispy skin, and then you serve it in like the pancakes or the bao buns with hoisin sauce, cucumbers, and scallions, and that's the very famous dish.
Okay, so ducks could be there's various types of breeds, and
Yes.
so certain okay. So
So the
it's just the breed.
largest breed, so the most duck sold in the US, or the most common duck, is the Pekin breed here in North America. And then there's a couple other breeds of ducks that are sold, but it has a very different taste profile.
To it. Okay. And then are there any like exciting news that you have coming up in the future? Any types of announcements coming up that are we can get a little bit of a glimpse of?
So we um, are really doing a push on. We started it a couple years ago, actually, but it's really picking up traction now. And is we have a dry age duck program where have a whole dry age facility, and we are hanging the ducks in the dry age cooler. Of course, after they're processed and properly cleaned, we are hanging them anywhere from 4 to 9 days, depending on the specs that the chef wants. And really, that dry age process that pulls the moisture out of the skin. So then, when the chef roasts it or cooks the skin gets even crispier, and again, that nice golden brown skin, crispy skin.
And now do you feel duck is like making more of a I don't want to like say a comeback, but more of a statement here in the US? It wasn't as popular, but do you feel like it's being used more in like more of the dishes that we're seeing in some of the five-star type of restaurants?
Definitely, yeah. And I'd say a lot of the duck before, even say pre-COVID, was if there was duck on a menu as a special. Now we have that spot on a entree or even an appetizer now. So it's becoming all more popular. The COVID people um, were a lot more adventurous, tried new items, and then ended up cooking those at home, and then restaurants noticed that too, so added it to their menu. And people just overall just are more adventurous, or dining is more of an experience to them. So it's instead of going to a concert, they might go to a 4 or 5 course dinner, wine tasting dinner, and they don't want to have just the nothing that's wrong with that. Eat a lot like chicken or steak. They want something else to have on that menu. And duck being high in protein, healthy for you, is a great alternative.
To
And
that.
And to make duck like more approachable to the everyday home chef, or even a more casual restaurant space, we launched this year, a couple months ago, duck carnitas. So it's a fully cooked duck leg and thigh. We confit it, and then we take it off the bone, and then just do some simple seasoning like guajillo pepper, salt and pepper, garlic in there. And the end user, or the chef or the home cook, all they have to do is just reheat it. And obviously, my favorite way is just putting it in a corn tortilla, the duck meat, some cilantro, fresh cilantro, chopped white onion, and salsa. And you have an amazing, easy, different type of taco for the night.
Oh, that's cool. I would like to try that.
Oh,
That's a,
it's
yeah,
amazing.
like a little.
And even like the name duck carnita doesn't have to like deter you. Like we have chefs across the country using it, say, as a breakfast hash or putting it on eggs Benedict or making it into club sandwich. It doesn't have to just go into tacos.
And now with your social media, because I have seen on Instagram, I see a lot of yummy recipes and stuff on there. Is that something that you're gonna keep doing or that you do often, is give, like, recipes out there to people to come up with, like, cool ideas?
Oh yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
definitely. But I think we like to show how versatile it is, how Michael was saying, but also on the other end of it is we don't want to scare people away either, that it is one of the simplest proteins to cook out there. You can cook a duck breast in less than 20 minutes with little to no work and you could put it up to a prime piece of filet any single day.
With the I know because it can be very tender. I had a friend who was, she was a great cook. She was from Denmark. They really do love glazed duck, and potatoes is,
Mhm.
like, something that they do, and it was very, very good.
Yes. And I personally love just duck legs, and you just simple roast of a duck leg, salt and pepper in the oven at 300 degrees for like an hour to hour and a half max, and you have a easy, delicious dinner.
And now for the company itself, where do you see it heading in the next, like, 5 to 10 years? What would be your goals?
So like our goals are to continue to have duck become a permanent place on the on menus across the country. And Joey always says there's only about like 25 million ducks being processed and uh, shipped in the United States each year, but we have over 350 million in our population. So we have a lot of marketing to do to get more people to try duck. And once we get someone to try duck, they end up loving it and become a regular duck eater. So that's what our goal is, to get more people to try duck and cooking duck at home.
And with that too is accessibility too. That's what a lot of retailers. I think we got to look for the next generation of buyers, and a lot of retailers of being a little more adventurous, of allowing duck to be put on the shelf, just not buried in the freezer cabinets for a while. We have a lot of success with a lot of local retailers that will do a fresh duck program, and it was amazing. With little to no marketing, people saw it on the shelf and bought it right away. So I think the more we can convince other retailers to put that there, it'll just become more popular, and more people enjoy experience at home.
Kinda gets to that untapped market of the people. Well, it's good to know that at least, like, the younger generation they're more, like, likely to try new things and be adventurous.
Exactly. And like we sell rendered duck fat too. And we make that here in house. We have huge kettles where we are slowly rendering the fat down to like the oil, and we sell it by the gallon or by the pints. And it's a great alternative to different frying oils. So like duck fat French fries it's incredibly delicious. The French fry gets crispier and has an overall better flavor, but also just sauteing vegetables or using duck fat instead of seed oils or other types of oils. It's a perfect alternative and healthy one.
Right, and more flavorful,
Yes.
definitely. Well, I definitely appreciate you. If people wanna know more about the company or find out just, where they can get it, where would they go? It's social media, the website?
I'd say both. Social medias is a good one. Our website, tastyduck.com, is updated with the staples every single week, fresh, frozen, and then we are constantly adding new products to that, probably on a monthly basis.
So people can order online? Okay,
Yes. Yep. It's right on our website, a whole shop link, and
okay.
we ship directly from here on the farm to your door.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Well, I
Like
wanna
we ship
thank
fresh duck across to California, all the states. So um, we have the process perfected to keep it fresh.
no matter where it's going. And usually, how
Yeah.
long does it take to get to, I mean, you got California, obviously. How long does it usually take to get that?
2 days.
But
2 days.
within the Pennsylvania area here or New York, it's a 1 day shipping. Like if you order today, it will be to you tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you joining us today and talking about I mean, such a wonderful thing for generations to see, a business thrive like that, especially in the agricultural industry. I guess one more thing before we wrap it up. with agriculture, what changes do you see overall in the industry? Are there any things that you see like moving forward that will be like different than what it was like 10 years ago?
I'd say fundamentally no. But at the same time, though, everybody is, especially with social media, people really want to know where their food comes from. That it's just going to be just of making sure that we can communicate our story, our practices, why the products, why we do what we do, and really how that really reflects to the quality, the flavor, even price points of our ducks in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. They spend more time to know where their food comes from and the quality that goes behind it.
Yeah, it's all about transparency now.
Happening. Do you ever have events as well locally?
Not when we have events, it wouldn't be anything at the farm yet. It's definitely something we're looking into, but a lot of it would be just when I say locally, it could be any major metropolitan area or club. We do a lot of different duck dinners or cooking competitions with local culinary schools or even like different trade groups like ACF and farmers, stuff like that.
And like it's not local, but again, like there's the Morimoto Orlando 10-year anniversary coming up on September 14th, and they only use our duck there, so we are going to have a presence down there, and people can buy tickets and come, and Morimoto himself will be there and serving our duck. So different events like that around the country we participate in, and food and wine festivals we're usually at. We were just at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival in June. So we post all these things on our social media.
Okay, perfect. So that's the best way to check this out. Okay. Well, I
Yes.
appreciate you joining us and thank you again. It was wonderful meeting both of you. Thank you for joining the Business Roundup, where we always try to bring you interviews with some of the leading people in business, whether it be technology, finance, or energy. I hope you tune in. I hope you subscribe and listen, and we'll give you updates for new interviews that are coming up. Until next time, I'm Melissa Bill.